The internet is going absolutely mental.
What the hell is NASA hiding?
So, whether you believe in UFOs or not, if 100% real, what you're about to see is absolutely concerning. I will say that when I first saw this feed, I really wasn't sure what to think. Until an independent journalist that I watch did a segment on this, and then had an expert speak afterwards. And I have to say that I'm leaning more towards it being real right now. I mean, on the internet, you never know, but it's definitely captured my attention. So we'll go ahead and take a look at this clip, and then I have some incredible professional and amateur images to show you. All right, let's take a look.
A few days ago at 11 a.m. Central Time, the live feed from the International Space Station suddenly went black, or they cut to their slate with a bunch of text. We're experiencing some problems here after some sort of a craft, something just floated by, some sort of an unidentified craft to many of us, flew right by the International Space Station.
Look at this.
So you can see it right here.
Entering that work volume while it's still in work.
And you can hear, of course,
you can see objects flying around in the background there, too, right around in here.
International Space Station.
Absolutely. I will not do anything inside the work volume.
Now watch here on the right side of your screen.
Excellent config. You're very welcome. And just to kind of smooth things over, when we do come back, KU, you'll be on Space to Ground 3 for your ops today with Shankini.
It goes out of view here, and he's going to explain this.
There you go. Keep sliding over.
I don't understand it.
Agree with Shankini. Thanks.
And then reappears. Now, according to reports, there's a black spot in the frame there. So when things move in the middle of that area, things do disappear.
Now, okay, what he just said there, like he said, according to, he wasn't saying it actually was. If you look, I'm not sure if you can see my mouse, but you look in the center of the screen, you can still see the stars, and you can see things moving behind it. I mean, it could be satellites, it could be debris. I mean, who knows what's flying back there? I mean, you can use your imagination. But none of it else, none of this is blacked out. Why did this object get blacked out for a second and then slide into view again? And you could almost see through it. I'm going to give you a close-up in a second.
That's not like an anomaly. That's actually part of the camera. But there it goes, floating by.
It very well could be the camera.
What the heck
I just
is
find
that?
it odd.
And then I think just shortly after that, then NASA cuts the feed and puts up their slate. It says, sorry, nothing more to see here.
All right, so here it is right here. I zoomed in, I enhanced it a little bit, gave it a little vibrance and contrast so we can get a closer look here. Once again, I'm not sure if you can see the mouse, but look, does that not look like a triangle? Like you have the headlight here. Look, it's perfectly symmetrical. All right, and then you have what looks like thrusters in the back. I mean, I'm just basically suggesting that this is a possibility. I'm not saying it is, but geez, this freaking thing is weird. All right, now watch when it goes. All right, look at the close-up on this. You see how the circle in the front isn't moving at all, and it looks like the back. And look at that, it flares out. Look at that. Does that not look like thrusters back there? I'm sorry. There is something very strange about this, and the fact that they cut the feed out at 71 seconds. They say every 90 seconds NASA will wind up messing with the feed or cutting the feed or interrupting, or it's like a 90-second type of intervals. But this was at 71 seconds. Okay, we're going to get into our next segment here in a second. I'm just going to back up a little so you can look at that while we talk a little more. So on top of this, NASA released their images of 3i Atlas around the same time. Okay, and we have astronomers, amateur astronomers, that have images way better than all these images we were waiting for through the whole government shutdown. We were waiting for these images, and this is what NASA gives us. Wow. That is what NASA gives us. High-res images, right, that we're supposed to be getting. It looks like a streetlight. There are memes out there putting this side by side with a bunch of streetlights, with all the fog around it and everything else. I mean, it most likely is 3i Atlas, but it is a poor image for what we've been waiting, 54 days or something for? All right, now watch my next photos. All right, this is one that they enhance with their filters. And this one here, I find very strange because there's a very similar image of this. If you go and look for it, you can Google it or anything. That came out like a month ago when it had perihelion. It looked just like this, okay, when it was closest to the sun. And they said it was heating up and it turned to blue, and they couldn't understand why. This image almost looks exactly like that. But this is what they released along with the other image. And we'll keep going here. All right, now this is like a little GIF, little GIF, okay? Now I want you to look. That thing that flies by there, all right, they're saying is Mars. Now here's another strange anomaly about this whole thing, okay? I'm going to pause it right there. Why is 3i Atlas almost perfectly symmetrical as a circle, and Mars is supposed to be a round planet that's stationary? And I know it's flying through the scene. There's a lot of people, geophysicists, and a lot of people analyzing this that don't understand why Mars looks the way that it does, all pixelated. Yet we have a moving object that's supposed to be hurtling through space, and we get this almost perfect circle. Yeah, you know, just watch this and tell me if you think that, I mean, this is strange or not. Okay, so once again, this is stacked images, obviously, on each other to show us it moving. All right, and this right here is, we're going to get into the amateur astronomers. These are the images that they captured. You saw what NASA captured. Now look at these amateur photos. This came from ZWO. I don't know much about them, but this is what they caught. Okay, now this is incredible. We're going to analyze this picture right now. All right, now look. Here is your anti-tail, which is on the right-hand side. Once again, I don't know if you can see my mouse or not. And that's a short little ray sticking out there on the right side. And then on the left is what a comet is supposed to have, okay, the tail. But normal comets have this curved, beautiful tail because the solar winds are pushing it away from itself. And then the anti-tail is facing the sun. Now, there's lots of things that make this anti-tail a little bit strange. And the sun is reacting very oddly to everything. And that's going to be for another episode. But yeah, this is a great image. And what these amateur astronomers are doing with their $10,000 to $30,000 telescopes, as opposed to NASA's $1 billion telescope or whatever, millions of dollars, the amount of money they get for this program is incredible. And yet amateurs are catching this stuff. Check the rest of this out. Look at that. I think this is an enhanced image, but you can clearly see the anti-tail and the actual tail. This is a beautiful shot. All right, so there you go. I'm curious to hear what everybody has to say. Please leave your thoughts and comments below, especially about that NASA feed. Do you think it's real? Do you think it's fake? Do you think it's a UFO? Do you think it's something else? I could tell you it's not AI or CGI created. I already went down that rabbit hole. But yeah, please hit a like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. See ya.